to the next step. We are going to add pegs to all this artwork because we don't want to animate the artwork. We want to animate the pegs, right? Okay, so we have all of our artwork organized. Now we want to create this other hierarchy. So it's kind of like the top part, right? All of the things that we're going to animate, and then we're going to group those pegs together. And did this seem too bad to you? Now that you know, at first it's probably seemed really crazy, right? But we do not have to make a peg for every individual. We can do it all at once. Oh my gosh. All right, so I'm going to select all my artwork. See, this is why we put them all in a row. Just makes things easier on this part. And you can create pegs. I'm going to select all these. I'm going to add a peg here with the peg button. It unfortunately makes it all squished together like that. Like, it's crazy. I don't want that, okay? I want it to be above, okay? So we're going to use the keyboard shortcut to do that because it's just nicer. The keyboard shortcut to create pegs for multiple objects that you need the pegs to be separate is Shift Command P. Okay, don't forget the shift, okay? Boom. Now it made pegs of all of our artwork, and it added this nifty -P so that we know it's a peg. Like, we didn't have to name them. It just does it all by itself. Pretty sweet. All right. We're going to have to now create the hierarchy for these. Okay. So let's go back to the slides. So we said Shift Command P, all the pegs are added. Boom. Now we need to start building this hierarchy. Okay. We're going to be creating a lot more pegs. Please use the keyboard shortcuts because they're just nicer. The keyboard shortcut for for making just a single peg is Command P. And we're going to use that to help us build out our hierarchy. So here I have an example of what I'm about to do with the eyes. We have another peg that controls the eyeball and pupil, and then we have another peg that controls that plus the eyebrow. And we call that the master peg, right? Because it's ruling over all those other pegs. Okay, so let's go click off of that. I'm going to select this middle one, the eyeball, and I'm going to say Command P, Command P. So it made our pegs. I'm going to connect this eyeball peg to the pupil, and I'm going to rename this just IL peg. Okay, because that's what we're doing. All right, and now I need to connect this top one to the eyebrow. All right, and I'm going to call this IL master. Okay, because now we got, if we had our artwork already ready to go, if I clicked on this, it would grab everything under it. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing with the right side. It's a good thing you're going to get all this really great practice. I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to name this I-P, and then this one is I_R-master. Okay, so that's that one. We can continue up the hierarchy. We're just going to keep going. I'm going to make a new one called Face Master. And then aside from the eyes, I'm going to add the other facial stuff. So that's just going to be the nose and the mouth probably for this time. And I think the ears. So we'll see. Hold on. All right. So I'm going to grab IR Master and say Command P to make another peg. I'm going to connect the IL. I'm going to call this Face-Master. Okay, Face Master. All right. I'm going to go ahead and connect the nose to that and the mouth to that. And we may as well connect the ears to that. And the hair, I think we will connect to the head. So give it a second. Right? So above the headmaster, all right, so above face, we need a headmaster. Okay, so Command P. We want to call it head master. And I'm going to go ahead and add the hair to that. I think I am going to move the ears to the head. Just because. And then, of course, the head. Woo, I did not want to do that. The head. Okay. I want another controller to control the head and the neck, because sometimes you want to control those separately. Not controller, I mean peg. This is not 3D, Miss Cleveland. We are not in 3D land. Okay, so we're going to call it head and neck dash master. Okay, we're going to add the neck to that. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and continue up the chain here. Above that, we should have a, say it with me, upper body master. Upper body dash master. Okay, we're gonna put the torso there. All right, let's move over to the arms, and then we will connect that up to the upper body master. So same thing like we did with the eyes. I'm gonna say Command P 2 times. Connect the lower arm to the hand. So when I click this lower arm peg, it grabs both of those, and then connect to the upper arm so that when I do the upper arm, it gets everybody. So I'm just going to call this arm L master, I guess. Yeah, let's do it. I'm just going to leave this as lower arm underscore L dash PP. Not because I have a potty mouth, but it just, I don't know, I can't think of anything else to call it. Okay, sometimes that happens. So this is going to be arm underscore R dash master. Okay, now we're going to connect these up to the upper body peg. Actually, let's do one more peg here. That's both arms, just to make it simple. Arms master. Okay, and then we'll connect this one to the upper body. Just make it easier. Okay. All right. Going over to the other side here. I'm just gonna grab upper body, make another above it, and we're just gonna call it your character name dash master. Not equals mass dash. Okay. Okay. I'm just gonna go ahead and make just Command P. We'll make a peg just all by itself. I'm going to call this one lower body master. Connect that to the main master. And then I'm going to connect this to the hips. So we can see that structure really coming around here. All right, so same thing with the legs that we did with the arm and the eyes. Okay, 2 pegs. Connect the foot to the lower leg to the upper. I'm going to call this one leg L master. And then we're going to do that again. Feel free to pause if I'm going too fast. We're going to say this one's leg R dash master. Okay, I want to make another peg that's just legs master. Okay, connect those, boom, boom, and then connect this to the lower body. So now we have our basic structure. In the next video, I'm going to show you how to get it ready to be a template.